3 days before Jesus was put to death, his disciples posed a question that has great importance for all of us today. They asked Jesus, "What will be the sign of your presence and of the conclusion of the system of things?" In reply, Jesus foretold that a time period preceding the promised new world would be marked by events such as wars, earthquakes, food shortages, and pestilence. Jesus then said, "For as they were in those days before the flood, eating and drinking, men marrying, and women being given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and they took no note until the flood came and swept them all away, so the presence of the Son of Man will be."
How you doing, guys? How many of you have remember little kids that were absolutely terrified of the dark? They'd go to the bed in a room that they lived in all their lives. You turn the light out and you leave the room. Well, they're fine for a while if they hear the TV out in the living room or there's a hall light on. But then you go to bed, you turn that TV off, you turn off the hall light, and what happens? That kid calls out. Well, you go into the room to see what's going on, and at first they won't tell you. They tell you they want a glass of water or something like that. But then you find out that there's something in the room. They're convinced that there is something in that closet. And if they're not in the closet, there's something under the bed. Well, you do two things. You open the closet door and you look, there's nothing in here. And you literally have to get down on your hands and knees and make sure there's nothing under the bed. And then you try to use logic. Listen, if there was something in here, don't you think the dog would be barking? Well, they think about it, and you can't convince them. They're still scared of the dark. We kind of go easy on it. We kind of find it funny. We chuckle at it because we have the same fear as kids. As you get older, what scared you as a child just does not scare you as an adult. Unless, of course, you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Looking at the regional convention, Powerful by Faith, not only was there nothing new, but they went to the well one too many times. They went back to the basics. I've noticed over the years that every convention was virtually the same. They were all scare tactics. But they continually went to that one scare tactic that's always worked for them. Although it may not be working so well now, especially since they're going online. And what better governing body member to give a scare talk than Aunt Mo? I kind of questioned this guy's integrity way back when I first heard his weenie roast talk. And I lost what little respect I ever had for him when I heard that. First thing I want to point out, anybody who has seen military action does not discuss it in the detail that he did in that weenie roast talk. But nonetheless, JW's buy the BS from him. And he gave this last talk at the convention, and they always go to the account of Noah's Ark. That never fails. And as coming in middle age, that was one of the first accounts I have heard. They like to see themselves as the modern day Noah's Ark. Obey, obey, obey. They push obedience. Noah survived because he obeyed God. And this is one thing that the governing body wants to instill in what's left of Jehovah's Witnesses, is continue to obey. Now, there is another account that they throw in there, just so that you will not question, and that is the account of Korah. See, these were the first two things I started hearing about when I first started studying, was of course Noah's Ark, and then the account of Korah. They're getting this into your mind to keep you obedient and not question. See, they want JWs to think that as soon as they start questioning, they're in the same category as Korah. No, Korah was involved in a rebellion. There is nothing wrong with questioning. But nonetheless, this is where they like to keep JWs at, in total fear, in total darkness. I was middle-aged when I came into the organization, and I kind of find it insulting that at my age, that They tried to instill fear that was not there. Let's face it, every human has a phobia. They're afraid of something. But as we get older, we do our best to keep it under control. But I did notice my first year in, they're trying to put a fear there that wasn't there before. If I'm not afraid of the dark, don't try to get me to be afraid of the dark. If I'm not afraid of thunder and lightning storms, why try to put the fear there? But this is exactly what they do. They try to convince you that everybody on the outside of the organization is like the people in Noah's day that took no note. There's something I do want to say about that. As far as people not taking note, like in the days of Noah, there are people, of course, that are totally oblivious to everything that's going on, and no matter what you do, they always will be. That's because of the outside indoctrination. That's because of the fluoridation in the water. They've dumbed the masses down. However, that does not work on everybody. There are so many people that are in tune with what's going on right now that Jehovah's Witnesses can't hold a candle to. See, the difference of people on the outside of the organization as opposed to Jehovah's Witnesses are told what to believe. They're told what to notice. They're told what to fear. There are people on the outside of the organization, in the general population, that know full well that something is going on. They are waking up to it. They are in tune to it. I've always seen things. And when I became one of Jehovah's Witnesses, this is how I felt. I was blinded to most everything I was seeing. Now you're told what to believe. You're told what to be afraid of. And to me, that doesn't work. Do you really need people like this as shepherds? And are they... Sorry, guys, I hate interruptions. But as I was saying, do you really need people like this as shepherds, telling you what to believe, telling you what not to believe, telling you what to be afraid of? The thing is, Jehovah's Witnesses are so indoctrinated that when the shit hits the fan, they're not even going to know it because they're going to wait for these 8 Goombas in Warwick to tell them what to do. Because without them, they're not going to know what to do. They're an evil, evil organization, and that's all they will be. I never saw a point of instilling fear in somebody that is not there. Because it takes a very narcissistic person, very narcissistic organization to instill fear. And why do they do this? To keep you under control. And anybody who uses tactics like that should not be feared, should not be listened to. You should pay no mind to them. When I realized what it was that they were doing and tried to constantly instill this fear, that was the beginning of the end for me. Because no, they are not shepherds. The thing is, something Jehovah's Witnesses that you may want to consider is, even though a few sheep may be lost to that big bad wolf, it's always the shepherd that leads those sheep into the slaughterhouse. And this is exactly where the governing body is leading you to. Why they've got you afraid of the outside world, afraid of former Jehovah's Witnesses, afraid of the big bad wolf on the outside. I got news for you. There are some pretty damn evil people on the inside of your organization. Keep that in mind. But I always wondered, who is it that Watchtower is shepherding their flock for? There's something I want to touch on next time. Anyways, guys, you have a good day. I'll be talking to you soon.